Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Tales of a Gutsy Ninja, and today we're going to be talking about corrupt politicians. And we're going to talk about, should they be loved? Should we call them out on the corruption? And today I'm wearing my favorite shirt of them all. And you know when someone wears a favorite shirt, it's a little faded. So yes, this is one of my favorite shirts of them all. Now, corrupt politicians. Corrupt politicians should be called out. A lot of people wait too long to call out on corruption when it comes to politics. And it's okay. A lot of people don't like calling out corrupt politicians because they're afraid to speak up against the politicians, against the government. However, a lot of us forget, and the only people that know about government understand that our forefathers in this country of America fought against the corruption and the tyranny of a crown a long time ago. Does this mean that we are not going to love politicians? Absolutely not. See, they're humans just like us. They have a mother just like us. They have a father that loves them. They have children that love them. It does not mean we're going to hate them. All right? So let's get this straight, first of all. When we talk about politicians that are corrupt, it doesn't mean we hate the politician. It doesn't mean we hate the person. It doesn't mean we're going to loathe their own morality and principles. No. We're calling them out. We're calling them out on the fact that a bunch of politicians forget that they're supposed to serve the people of the country that they are working for. They forget why they decided to be a politician in the first place. And this is only for the corruption. And there's corruption everywhere. There's corruption everywhere. However, when it comes to a politician that is being corrupted, we're not pointing the fingers at the person. We're pointing fingers at the fact that they promise their fellow man, their fellow woman, their fellow children and daughters and sons and kids to be a change in the government. And it's not easy. I can put myself in their shoes and understand the corruption comes in just a small crack of our lives. And with that being said, it's not about attacking the politicians. It's not about attacking the presidents. It's not about attacking who they are. It's about attacking their agenda. See, one thing I will agree on is that our current president has been true to his word. So there's no way that we can attack him because he has shown his agenda and his true intentions. So there's nothing for me personally, as a resident, as a working resident of this country, to attack our president. But there is other senators, House of Representatives that forgot because they've been sitting on the seats for so long. Now there's great, amazing politicians. They're still true to their agenda of why they did politics. See, a lot of people don't like to be in this controversial because they're scared to offend even teachers that practice peace, love, and harmony. We're not attacking the corrupt politicians just because it's their person. No, we're attacking the promises that some of them made towards their fellows, men and women, and then turn their back. They turn their back. They start passing laws they said that we're not going to pass. This is not about our current president if you're watching this video. And in the next 4, 8, 12, 20 years, it will never be about the current president. It will be about the agenda that they have. A lot of people think that it's an anarchist to call out the corruption of the politicians. But they forget that this country has laws and a constitution that states that if your government is tyrannical, to overthrow it with arms, with bare arms. That includes corrupt politicians that have not kept their promises to the people of America. Does it mean that we're going to hate them? Of course not. They're human. They deserve love. And we show them respect. Because it's politicians. They work hard for their position. But one thing that the American people should never take for granted. And the reason why this country is an amazing country is because of the Constitution that allows the regular working class to take arms and overthrow their government if it seems deemed of corruption. And it starts with senators. It starts with House of Representatives. It starts with majors. It starts from the lowest ranks when it comes to the oligarchy of the government. So it's not about hating them. It's not about pointing fingers. It's not about pointing my finger at any corrupt politician. It's about letting them know and letting you know, if you're watching this, listening to this, that you have the right to protest, whether violence or peacefully, whatever comes first. Peaceful protest is always uprising from a violent government. And violent protest is from too much of a peaceful government that has turned their back on their own people. And this country is a boiling pot of the world. From all over the world, you have South Americans, Latin Americans, Central Americans, North Americans from Canada, North Americans from here of the continent. Because Mexico is also part of North America. It's not Central America. So, we have people that come from Europe, from the East, and it's a beautiful country that every single immigrant, legally or illegally, cherish it, because we know how hard it is to become something in this country, because the obstacles are greater, but the opportunities are limitless. So next time somebody tells you that you are wrong for speaking up against a corrupt politician at that, let them know that it is also your right to make sure that politician no longer has the power that they have. It's not about who is better, because the people, like the first word and the second word, the people. We, the people, the third word, but it's the people that vote, elect, and decide how the country it's run. You don't need to be a rocket scientist, but I guess maybe you do, to speak about on politics. You don't need to be a highly educated government official to speak against the corruption, but I guess we do. I guess all these educated people forget that we, the people of this country, are also intelligent. And the reason why most don't uprise is because we understand the consequences of militia power, martial law. We understand military is controlled by the government, the police force controlled by the government. And if you haven't realized that the reason why this country doesn't uprise its government, it's because we care about the police. For the most part, the majority of Americans. We care about our military servicemen. And I know that a majority of Americans would not want to go up against their own brothers and sisters in arms just to take down corruption in the government. And this includes all around the world. All around the world, where millions of people decide to not take up arms against their government. And one thing I will give the French props is that they do stand up against their government regardless of the feelings of their politicians, of the feelings of their spiritual leaders, because they understand that we, the people, are the ones that truly have the power. We, the people, are the ones that decide who has their cake and eat it too. And we decide who shares a piece of the pie for everybody. Don't let these educated teachers, scholars, tell you that you, an average American, maybe with no degree, maybe with a college degree, maybe no college degree, maybe just a GED, maybe no GED, that you aren't capable of understanding what it is to stand up against unlawful politics who have turned their agenda for their own personal gain. Yeah, these politicians have families, they have daughters and sons and friends that love them. But if you have a friend in the politics, a relative, close somebody in politics, it is also your duty as a citizen of this country, as a resident of this country, to check them and let them know, is this what truly your heart desires? To turn your back against the citizens, the people that have elected you. This is not for the president. This is for senates, majors, House of Representatives. It's not for the president. As a Mexican living in this country, working in this country, paying taxes to this country, I think the president has the right, to do as he has been for the benefit of this country. Regardless if a lot of Americans think it's wrong, regardless if a lot of Americans think that the votes were stolen, I think that the president is still our president, because that's what politics is about. Because he's the one in charge in that White House. And yes, there might be a lot of disrespect in certain protocols that he might not follow, but that is his prerogative. And that is something that is his character. And it cannot be judged. We can point fingers, we can criticize and discuss about it, but not judge. Don't get the criticism and don't get judgment mixed, because they're totally different words. Because if there weren't different words, there wouldn't be two separate meanings for them. So no, we don't point fingers just to point fingers. We acknowledge that we're looking at them in a view of they have turned the agenda of the people towards their own personal gain. And that's the beautiful thing about this country. That's the beautiful thing about America. And I'm a Mexican person. And despite the fact that sometimes we might get angry at the country, the ones who are running this politics, at the end of the day, we're grateful, because it is the land of free thinkers. And so many countries have adapted how this country processes the individuality of their citizens. So remember, dear Americans, never let any government, any politician, anybody, so-called coaches in YouTube, anywhere on the internet, tell you to shut your mouth because you're speaking wrongly about a politician. Because we're not speaking wrong about the politician himself or herself. Speaking about their agenda, their plans that they have switched. Because it is a harder position to be in when you're a politician. Us in YouTube, us anywhere around the world, that wouldn't apply to us, because we can change whenever we want. But when you take the mantle of serving your people, of serving your country, as a thinker of your state, of your county, of your country, you decided to have all eyes on you, all thinking on you, all criticism on you, and even the judgment on you. Because you decided that. Because you said, I will do this for my people. But you turned around and said, I will do it for myself. And there's a big distinction, a paramount of distinction between being a politician, of public service to your people, than being a YouTuber, being a musician, being an artist, being a composer, being a writer, being an author. Because being a politician is a higher calling for the benefit and the prosperity of your country. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like. Oh yeah, he's fooling around today in the background. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching Tales of a Gutsy Ninja. Make sure you leave your comments down below if you agree or disagree. Sometimes I might not have the time to read them, but I will make sure and work and do my best to answer some comments back, like some comments back if you like this video about politics. And remember, your voice matters in the world. Don't let any preacher, any teacher tell you that it's wrong to speak up against the politics of the world, because they're the ones that decided to be up in that public face. And if they are not correlating to what they have spoken, then it is just and right to criticize, to judge the character of the politician, not the person, not the person, the character of the politician. Just like we are judged by our characters, criticized by our characters, we have the right to do the same. Just like we criticize Christ, just like we criticize every spiritual teacher, we have the right. Until next time.